What's up, guys? Brian here. Welcome back to the channel. If you've been watching me for a little while, you know that every now and then I tinker around with my 2015 GMC Yukon, and today we're going to try to improve its ride quality. I lowered it a while back, but this thing will beat you to death on the freeway, man. So see if we can improve that a little bit. So let's get to it. Okay, so we're going to get started on the Yukon here, changing out these front struts for some coil overs. But as a matter of safety, what you should always do when you jack up the front or one side or one corner, you should always put a jack stand. That way you can protect yourself from the vehicle falling down, possibly causing some serious injury to you or damaging the vehicle. So make sure you always put a jack stand under there. And as a matter of double safety, I always leave the jack there with contact on the vehicle. So I've already taken off the wheel. And now moving inside the wheel well here. So there are three 15mm nuts there. You could see the front one right there in between the fender well and the strut tower. And then there are also two down here that are also 15mm that come from the bottom up. So you have to remove those two and the three up here to get the strut out. And I've read that you have to take the sway bar loose to get the strut out, but not sure. We're gonna find that out as we go. So to make things easier, I'm gonna remove the inner fender well. It's a bunch of 7mm, and then there's a couple of torques here and there. So let's get some of that done. Now we have all the screws out and the inner fender well out. You can see how much easier it is to get to these three 15mm nuts there. Take the inner fender well out. There are two 10mm bolts right here that fasten here from underneath. You have four 9/32 or 7mm and quite a few of the T15 Torx. So now we will take these 15mm nuts off and those two 15mm bolts off down there. Then we can see if we're going to have to take the sway bar loose or not. So let's go. One more. Okay, one of the things that you need to know doing these is there's these little clips. They hook on right here. You have to take those off and transfer them to the new one. And all you gotta do is give it a little squeeze with some channel locks right there. Just kind of hold it. Not a lot, it doesn't take much. So that's one thing you gotta do in order for this to work properly. So to get the other one out, I did not have to take the sway bar loose. We may have to get the new one in, but we'll see. Okay, so the coilover is in there. Got all the bolts tight, all the nuts are tight. I did not have to take the sway bar loose after all. I was able to depress the shock part of the coilover enough to get it on top of the lower control arm. And so it's pretty simple. So to take out the old strut, I just pulled it out through this way and went back in the same way with this coilover. So now I'm going to go ahead and put the inner fender well back in, lower this side down, and then jump on the other side. So here we go. Just like before, now on the passenger side, we have our jack and jack stand. Just like before, same thing. And now we'll take this wheel off. Okay, same thing on this side. Remove the inner fender well to make it easier to get to those 3 nuts up there. Same 2 bolts down here. So we're going to take all these screws out on this side now, just to make it a little easier. Let's get it. Got all 3 of those tight. Got the bottom 2 tight. Again, we didn't have to take the sway bar loose. So everything is done. Now we'll go back and put the inner fender well back in. Then we can see how it looks. So I pulled it outside so we can get a better look at this thing. I think since we have the ability to adjust the ride height, I think I need to come up a little bit more. I mean, it looks good right there, but to make it more level and to keep it from rubbing, I noticed when I pulled it out, it was rubbing a little bit. It hadn't rubbed before, so I think we're gonna pull it back in the shop and adjust it up a little bit, maybe another 1/2 inch or so. Just compare it to the back. Yeah. All right, back in the shop we go. Well, it started raining on us. Came out of nowhere, but we were able to lift it up another 1/2 inch, and now she's looking proper. So I still have new shocks for the back, but we'll tackle that tomorrow. Well, I'm gonna get out of the rain. All right, y'all. So that's a wrap on the coilover install on the Yukon. And a little update, since it's been a couple days now, I can tell you for a fact, man, it rides a hell of a lot better than it did before. So if you have any questions about how this process went down, leave it in the comments, man, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that I can. Until the next video, man, peace.